He's a three-time All-Pro and the leader of the Cardinal defense. He played for Buddy Ryan in Philadelphia with the Eagles and followed Buddy to Arizona. And linebacker Seth Joyner now in his 10th NFL season, joining us up close. Seth, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on the program.
Thank you.
It's good to see you. Seem a little laid back, a little upset probably about the 1-5 start for the Cardinals. And yet with Buddy Ryan, we've seen a different Buddy Ryan, right? A little bit more, a kinder, gentler. Why the change?
Well, I don't know that it's so much there's so much of a change in Buddy. He's handled some things a little different than he has in the past, but the way he handles the team, the way he's coaching, to me hasn't changed. You know, it's just a matter of what you see opposed to what you've seen in the past.
What are some of the little differences, though, if there are some?
I think maybe sometimes, you know, the way that he handles certain situations. You know, there was times in the past, you know, he would get upset about certain things. You know, there's certain things he doesn't get upset about anymore.
Does he confront players like he used to?
I think he confronts them the same way. You know, he might do it in a roundabout way, but he doesn't, it's not the criticism in the newspaper like he used to do. You know, he'll more or less pull you to the side or, you know, make it known in the meeting. You know, the last 2 weeks I've been criticized, you know, for some things that I've done wrong, and rightfully so. You know, I think that everybody should be held accountable, you know, for when they're playing, when they're not holding up their end of the bargain.
Is Buddy Ryan mailing it in?
Oh, no. Definitely not. Definitely not. He's still got a strong desire to coach, a strong desire to win. And, you know, we're going to get this thing turned around. You know, we're struggling a little bit right now, and the playoffs look very bleak for us. But, you know, we're going to keep plugging. And if I know anything about Buddy Ryan, is one thing, he's going to continue to coach and push us as players to be as good as we can be.
And he has said, yeah, he's not going to the young players yet, so he's not giving up on the playoff shot, although it is a long shot. Owner Bill Bidwell says, hey, I'll wait till after the season before we make any evaluation on Buddy Ryan's future as head coach. Sounds like a vote of confidence. Do the players sense that?
I don't think anybody really reads into it, you know, too much, because nobody really knows, you know, what the situation is. No matter what happened, I would love to see Buddy have, you know, the third year to, you know, to come back and, you know, do whatever's necessary to get this team back together. Not that we won't, you know, put the pieces back together this year. But, you know, Mr. Bidwell owns the team, and he reserves the right to do what, you know, he feels is best. And like he said, he'll evaluate the situation at the end of the year and move from there. You
would admit that Buddy has been, and the Cardinals have been, a disappointment since Buddy stepped in?
Well, I don't think that you can call, you know, 8-8 is a disappointment for the coaches and the players. But for an organization, you know, that's been going 4-12 and 13-3 and 2-14, you know, 8-8 is not a disappointment. The biggest disappointment for us last year was the fact that we started off 1-slow, another slow start like we're having this year, but we weren't able to put it all together and you know, to the end. And most disappointing was the last play of the game against the Falcons last year, with an opportunity to end on a winning note, 9-7. Last play of the game, we weren't able to get it in from the one. You know, that's disappointing. But I think a lot of other people see the situation as more disappointing because of how Buddy comes in and says, well, you know, this team is going to the playoffs, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And when the team doesn't accomplish all the things that he wants us to accomplish, or the things that he brags about us accomplishing, it's like fire on the fuel on the fire to the anti-Buddy guys. You know, I mean, it's like, well, you know, the people who don't like Buddy, when he says something and his team isn't able to live up to what, you know, what he predicts, well, you know, that's when they really have their fun with it.
Should he say those kind of things publicly?
I think he should, because what he does in saying what he's saying, he's basically saying, okay, I'm expressing a certain amount of confidence in my players. And this confidence I want these guys to have in themselves when they step out on the field. I think confidence breeds confidence. You know, if for some reason or another he showed no confidence in us, and we as players could sense that, then I think that's bad. I think it's always positive for the coach to express a lot of confidence in his players, so his players in turn can become confident.
The offense has had its problems for a while with the Cardinals, but always a linchpin for Buddy Ryan teams is the defense, and the 46 defense, which has dominated opponents in the past, but ranking dead last in the league. Are opposing offenses now figuring out the 46 defense?
I don't think so. It's so much as teams are figuring it out. I think that we've kind of put ourselves in this position defensively. Everybody always wants to point the finger at Buddy, and everybody always wants to point the finger at the defensive coaches. Well, truth of the matter is they can draw up, all the defensive schemes they want, but they can't put on any pads and go out and play any downs for us. We have to go out as the players and execute it. And right now, we're not executing it. There's too many mental errors going on the field, myself included. And we're just not making plays like we're capable of making them.
Well, let's talk about one of those. And you admit, obviously, and you're one of the guys who spends a lot of time studying in the film room, looking at tape, putting in the work, and you're the first to admit, Week 5, Kansas City, Steve Bono, and the people have seen it probably 50 times already, where everybody's thinking run, and Bono takes off 76-yard touchdown run untouched. What happened here?
Well, throughout the course of the week in my film study, every short yardage play that I had seen, that play wasn't in their package. It's not an excuse because my responsibility is to rush up the field, make sure the ball's handed off, contain the quarterback. But I've made plays in the past in short yardage where I've gone down the line and tackled a guy behind the line of scrimmage, and they've had to punt. But you have to give their coaching staff credit for seeing it. Seeing that they could run the play, and for setting it up in the way that everything that they showed in the past was motion the wing to the weak side and run the lead to Marcus. Well, they faked it and came out, and it was a great play on their part.
Were you or the Cardinals embarrassed by that play?
I think a lot of people expected for us to be embarrassed, but if I wasn't giving all my effort to stop the play, then I would have been embarrassed about it. But I'm not embarrassed. I'm mad at myself for making a mistake, but I'm not embarrassed about, the way I played the play, because I played their tendencies and I played the things that they normally do, and they were smart enough to go against their tendencies.
How would you describe the pressure to win and the lack of that versus the frustration that this team has experienced so far, for you personally?
I don't think that you can really separate them because they really work hand in hand. Especially, in my situation. I put a lot of pressure on myself to play well, and my passion for the game is the thing that drives me, to win games. And when you're not winning and you're not playing well together, it makes for a real tough situation.
All right, we'll talk about where that passion is today with Seth Joyner of the Arizona Cardinals. A quick timeout. Also, when we come back, Randall Cunningham. Seth spent some time with him in Philadelphia. Talk of maybe him at some point coming to Arizona. Would that help? We'll check that out when we come back.
Music Express, voted #1 by the National Limousine Association, has offices in Los Angeles and on the East Coast. Music Express can handle your corporate needs anywhere in the U.S. and worldwide. And guests of Up Close stay at the Beverly Prescott, L.A.'s premier boutique hotel. Call your travel agent to make reservations at the Beverly Prescott, a Kimpton hotel.
The issue is returning to work. Liberty Mutual has its own rehabilitation center where they develop new ways to help injured workers back to their jobs healthier. Liberty's approach helped one workers' comp customer cut losses by 43%. Getting people back to work, it's the best therapy of all. Liberty Mutual, facing the issues that face our customers.
My dandruff and itch are awful. I'll try anything. Denorex tingles. Head and Shoulders doesn't.
Both have effective dandruff medicine, but Denorex has something extra that tingles, feels fresh.
That's why I started using Denorex. No flakes, no itch.
Denorex, the serious dandruff shampoo.
Go ahead, scream. Get it off your chest.
Oh, kick, yo! Oh, shut up.
Call now and get into the hysterical in-your-ear spirit of Turf Talk. Plus, you also get this SI Luminescent Sports Watch. Both free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated.
What is Turf Talk anyway?
Turf Talk is the video that never shuts up.
Get your ass in gear!
The NFL's 100 greatest sound bites of all time.
Oh, excuse me, buddy. You okay?
Get Turf Talk and this SI Luminescent Sports Watch with genuine leather band, scratch-resistant crystal, and glow-in-the-dark face. It's yours free when you order 54 issues of SI for only $1.47 an issue. Save over 50% off the cover price. Use your credit card.
Hey, Dave! Hey, Billy!
Call for yourself or someone else.
Douglas!
And get Turf Talk and this great sports watch both free from SI. There is nothing in the world like Sports Illustrated. Get into it.
Welcome back to the show with Seth Joyner in his 10th NFL season. 86 tackles last season in 1991. He was the Defensive Player of the Year runner-up. And you've talked about the passion for the game. It's been fun for you in the past. Is that still the case now?
Well, I try to make it as fun as I can. It's hard for the game of football to be fun when you're 1-5. And, you know, obviously everybody's playing to win. Everybody's playing for the ultimate goal, and that's the Super Bowl ring. And sometimes when that goal gets further away from you, the less fun, you know, it becomes. Not that I don't still enjoy to play and that I, you know, still don't love to play, but it's hard to have fun when things aren't going good.
And there are things like week 3 against the Lions. You were fined for unsportsmanlike conduct. It was a $4,000 fine. I know you were upset about the fine. Why did that bother you?
It really bothered me because just the way the league has chosen, you know, to handle some things. The way the situation occurred, if I was to be fined, then all parties involved were at least...
Explain what happened in that case so we understand
well, I was
what
coming
you
off,
did.
there was a punt, and I was coming off the sideline, exchange of possession, going on the field for the next defensive series, and I looked down the end zone, and Benny Blaze has, you know, one of our rookies down, you know, just beating him to death, and the referee standing over him watching it. You know, he's not doing anything. He's not trying to pull him off or tell him to get off. I'm going to flag you or anything. So I go down and I break it up, you know, and by the time I get down there, the referee tells me, you know, I could flag you for coming off the sideline. I said, first of all, I didn't come off the sideline. It was a change of possession. So I have every right to be on the field. Second of all, you need to be doing your job. He has no business on my teammate beating him up, and you're not doing anything about it. Why should I have to come down here and break it up? Well, about that time, a couple of the other Lions come off the sideline, and they're jawing, and they're throwing blows, and they're pushing and shoving, you know. So I'm going to stand up and protect myself, you know, and next thing I know, the ref flags me for unsportsmanlike conduct, you know, which I can, you know, live with. But the $4,000 fine I can't live with because I don't see anything that happened in that clip, and I have the tape at home. I haven't seen nothing in that clip that warrants a $4,000 fine.
Can you appeal? Have you appealed? Did you consider that?
Oh, I am going to appeal. I don't know how much good it would do or will do, but, you know, I'm definitely going to appeal. And I'll see how things work out.
Is there a bias, you think, by the league against defensive players? Do you sense that? We've heard Greg Lloyd talk about that, other players on defense.
See, I just think that they're trying to tame the game, you know. If they're afraid of getting people hurt, then devise better protective equipment. Or the ones that are afraid to get hurt, they need to, you know, get them out the game or get better offensive linemen, whatever you want to do. But don't sacrifice the defensive game, you know, to keep offensive players healthy. I understand that quarterbacks are high commodities. They're great selling points for teams, and they're the attendance draws and things like that. But I can guarantee you, if I get a shot to blow a quarterback up, I'm not going to pull off because of, you know, the ramifications of a fine. In the past, any contact with the crown of the helmet was declared a penalty. Now, if you hit him with the head at all, which is kind of hard to do when you're moving, you know, 110 miles an hour and you get to the guy, sooner or later you got to put your head on the guy. You got to put your face on him. And, you know, they're calling that a penalty. To me, that's ridiculous. That goes against the whole nature of the game. You might as well put flags on guys.
Well, speaking of quarterbacks, Randall Cunningham, you spent 7 years in Philadelphia playing for Buddy Ryan there. And Randall, of course, the Eagles said it was figured had the best talent that never really went to a Super Bowl, won a playoff game. How much of the lack of success there should be blamed on Randall Cunningham? Because he's taken a lot.
You know, the thing I have a problem with when it comes to Randall, when people talk about his lack of success, I think it's been the lack of a solid offensive line more than his inability to get it done. Because he's been a good quarterback with a lot of skills for a long time. But everybody knows that offense is going to be as good as the offensive line is, and the defense essentially is going to be as good as the defensive line is. And he's never, for as long as I can remember, had an offensive line, you know, that's been really that solid.
What kind of leader is Randall?
He's a quiet leader. He leads by example.
A good enough leader for that position?
I think at the quarterback position, you have to be more vocal, you know. Everybody talk about the strife that has always been between Randall and I, and to me, that's been the biggest bunch of garbage. I've always been a Randall Cunningham fan. I've always been behind Randall.
Would you like to see him come to Arizona?
I really, you know, if it's going to help us win, I'd like to see anybody.
What do you think? Do you think he can help you win?
I don't know. I can't tell you for sure. You know, but if somebody can come to our team and help us win, then I'm all for it. I don't care who it is.
If he wasn't, in your view, the right leader in Philly, what makes you think in Arizona he would be that leader?
Well, when you look at our offensive line, we've got a lot of good leaders on the offensive line. And some veterans there, some guys that have been, you know, in the war. It's a little different when you got leadership around you. It's a little different when you got some veterans around you, some solid players around you. And maybe then that might be the thing that can allow him to be a little more vocal. But that's the only strife that I've ever had with him, is that I thought that he should have just been a little more vocal, a little more of a vocal leader in the huddle.
All right, we're with Seth Joyner. He came to the desert looking for something. We'll find out if he truly has found it with Buddy Ryan and the Arizona Cardinals. More with the linebacker of the Cardinals, three-time All-Pro, when Up Close continues.
Clothing provided by Renzi. Quite simply the finest clothing experience for men. Remember, Renzi, we take your look seriously because we know you can't win if you're not even in the game.
Come on, Sean, hop up here. I'm going to listen to your chest.
You have to.
Do you want to listen to my chest?
Why?
Oh, I think there might be a little man in there playing the drums. Here, listen. Can you hear him?
Hey, that's not a drum. That's your heart.
Really?
Sure you want to hear mine?
Hey, you're right. It does sound like a heart.
University Medical Group. For the doctor who's right for you, call 1-800-644-0088.
So who are you voting for?
Wizard.
Who? Linda Legal?
Cow Wizard.
It's Linda Lingle and Cal Izzard.
Yeah, Linda Siegel for Freeholder.
Cal Blizzard.
Beagle and Wizard.
It's Linda Lingle and Cal Izzard.
My mom's voting for Langle and Izzard.
Thanks.
Vote Bob Brunetti for County Executive, Linda Lingle and Cal Izzard, Freeholder.
You've seen the game day crew on campus with Lester. This week, catch him in Birmingham, Alabama, site of the Tennessee-Alabama game. College game day at 11:30 Eastern. You'll be watching, right, Lester?
Coming up on SportsCenter, an update on baseball's playoffs as the Mariners and Reds try to regroup after losses. We'll tell you where Doc Gooden's comeback could be, and Jerry Jones gives the NFL a piece of his mind again. Join us 6:30 Eastern.
Friday at Up Close, he played in 5 World Series. Steve Garvey talks postseason baseball and about his eerie encounter with O.J. Simpson. Up next, more with Seth Joyner. He came to Arizona looking for something. Will he leave before he gets it?
I have a small apartment, so this is a good size for me.
This grill is my baby.
Panasonic in stereo VCR.
You open it up, and it's got 2 levels to grill on.
When I came from Israel, we didn't have a microwave.
They like the surround sound.
It was like a magic machine to me.
My husband has speakers in every corner of the room.
It's got a neat little feature where it cleans itself.
It's really loud. Scares our dog, Woody.
And it's on wheels.
You name it, I can cook it. I can even cook your goose.
You know, when you have something special, you don't just throw it away. Of course, years ago, we thought we could throw away anything. Just use it and trash it. Well, we're all a little smarter now. Instead of those one-shot batteries, I use renewal from Rayovac. Advanced alkaline power. You don't just trash them after one shot. You renew them, and they come back strong. They say the world throws out 20 billion batteries a year. We can do a lot better. Play it smart. Rayovac Renewal.
Are you ready? It's coming. Prepare yourself for a major bomb threat. The season is here, and so is the magazine that defines it all. ESPN's College Basketball, the best and brightest Bible of hoop stats and team previews, picks and predictions, coaching tips, and crunch time coverage. So if you're a fan or a fanatic, buy it, read it, know your stuff, because if college hoops is a way of life, then ESPN's College Basketball magazine is your guide. On newsstands now.
Continental now offers you more ways to Europe with new daily service to Manchester, England. It's one more way Continental gives you more airline for your money.
We're winding down with Seth Joyner of the Arizona Cardinals, and Jimmy Johnson on Fox recently said, you ready for this, Seth? He questioned if the Cardinals got their money's worth when they signed both you and Clyde Simmons. How would you assess your play as a Cardinal? Are you paying dividends for him?
I think I could be playing better on the field, but I think there's some things, you know, that I bring to the table, experience-wise, that is helping the team as well. But, you know, I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion. You know, if we were winning, then all of a sudden, you know, it would be the greatest move in the world, the coup of the century. But you know, we're not winning, so when you're not winning, always the guys who are being paid the most are the ones that are going to take the most heat.
Last year you were an All-Pro. David Alexander, former teammate of yours, called you a clubhouse lawyer and said that these are strong comments. You're only in the game for your own selfish reasons. Did you ever, even going back to your Philadelphia days, put yourself ahead of the team?
I don't see how I could be playing this game for a selfish reason. When you look at the game of football, it's a team game. If we lose, we lose together. If we win together. Anything I said was in motivation or out of frustration, you know, to be able to get the team to play better, to move forward. And there's nothing selfish in it. If me wanting the Super Bowl ring is selfish, then I guess I was playing for a selfish reason, because that's the only reason I'm in this game to this day right now.
But when you say things publicly about your team, whether it be in Philadelphia or in Arizona, obviously you're speaking honestly, but do you think it helps the team? Or is it more for you just to release tension?
Well, in Philadelphia, see, the biggest difference between that period of time when I had so many problems in Philadelphia and the period of time before that when Buddy was the coach and then the situation now is that when Buddy was the coach, you know, before and now, if things were wrong, they were handled. You know, that's one of the things that I love about Buddy. If something's wrong, he's not going to just stand pat and just let it go. You know, he's going to address it, let the player know that he's not happy about it, and they're either going to ship up or ship out, you know. With Rich Kotite, it was totally different. You know, things would go on, and there would be nothing said about it, you know. And for me, it was hard for me to handle. So, you know, I wasn't just going to hold it in and sit there and, you know, if I seen something wrong and I didn't say anything, then that means I just didn't care whether we won or lost. You know, but I cared, and it mattered to me, so I was going to say something. And they took it the wrong way.
All right, in our final minute, you came to Arizona looking for a rebirth, searching for that ring. How realistic is that now?
Well, I mean, we just have to keep playing. You know, I can't sit here and say, you know, that all is lost. You know, I can't sit here and say that everything is perfect because, you know, we still got a ways to go. But I would not have come here. I would not have Spent the last couple of years of my career under Buddy. I wouldn't have came to Arizona if I didn't feel that this team had the ability. If I didn't have the confidence in Buddy to go out and get the players that we needed to improve, I wouldn't be here, if I didn't feel that way. So, Seth Joyner is going to continue to try to make himself better. I know I haven't been playing up to par lately, but, that's inside dealings of myself, things that I have to straighten out and get right myself. 1-5 is no fun for anybody, and when you're 1-5, when you're losing, everybody's a critic and everybody's got a reason why things aren't going right. But, I know what made me the player that I am, and I know what I still can do, and I'm just going to continue to go out and work hard, and, hopefully things will fall into place. If it's meant to be, it'll happen. If it's not, then, God works in mysterious ways, and he'll handle the situation.
So be it. All right, well, thanks for coming on the program. Hang in there. All right, good luck the rest of the way. Up next, more pro football when Up Close continues. We'll take a look at the 1/3 mark of the NFL season. We'll tell you some things you know and some things you don't know.
Alan's asthma attack woke me. At 3 a.m., you don't try some unknown brand. You trust Primatene Mist.
It starts to open clogged breathing passages in as fast as 15 seconds.
We take asthma seriously with Primatene Mist.
Fastest type asthma relief without a prescription.
3 out of 4 new car radiators are made of aluminum. Thin, lightweight, and under tremendous stress. This year, over 400,000 aluminum radiators will hit, corrode, and fail. Protect your car in the Prestone Zone. The Prestone antifreeze bonds with aluminum, forming the Prestone Zone of dual protection against corrosion and temperature extremes. Don't put your car at risk. Protect it in the Prestone Zone.
From the team that brought you Jock Rock and Jock Jams, ESPN and Tommy Boy present Jock Rock Volume 2. Yeah, even more of the greatest crowd rocking sports anthems of all time. Jock Rock Volume 2, available in record stores everywhere.
You guys been friends since high school?
Oh, yeah, me and Tony used to do everything together. Remember when we dressed up as Batman around for Halloween?
Oh, yeah.
That was great. That was fun. And we were dating the same girl?
No.
Oh, I must have been thinking of somebody else.
You've seen the game day crew on campus with Lester. This week, catch him in Birmingham, Alabama, Saturday at 11:30 Eastern. You'll be watching, right, Lester?
Welcome back to the show. Each day here at Up Close, we're providing updates of Don King's insurance fraud trial in New York. Unfortunately, one of the jurors had a family emergency today, postponing day 3 of the trial until Friday. Now to the NFL, and the league is at the 1/3 mark, and here are some of the things we know and some of the things we don't know. We do know the Cowboys and 49ers are beatable. Each has already lost a game they were expected to win. We know the Falcons and Rams probably aren't that good, and the winless Saints probably aren't that bad. The Bagheads are back in New Orleans, and now they're asking paper or plastic. Jim Everett, coming off a bye week, had to be eyeing Jim Harbaugh's 300-yard passing performance against Miami's defense last week when the Colts rallied to win. The Saints quarterback is going to have to do that from the opening quarter if New Orleans is to get its first win of the year. And the Saint defense, last in the conference, doesn't have to worry about Dan Marino. Bernie Kosar gets the start, but when the Browns pushed him out of Cleveland, it was because they felt his mobility was too great a hindrance, and they questioned if he was still capable of making the big play. He may have an answer Sunday in the Superdome. We do know that San Diego's Tony Martin leads the AFC in catches and receiving yards, but the coaching staff doesn't know how much longer it can put up with the drops, and he's just not the only one on that Charger offense. With Stan Humphries ailing and the Cowboys coming to town this Sunday, it probably means more and more means. Gail Gilbert handing off to Natron means. We do know the last time the Packers and Lions met was in the playoffs, and Green Bay held Barry Sanders to -1 rushing yard. We don't know how the Pack will handle Barry as more of a receiver when they meet this Sunday. In fact, the Lions combo of Herman Moore and Brett Perryman is combined for 70 catches already this season and is threatening the NFL record set last season by 2 receivers on the same team. Chris Carter and Jake Reed of the Vikings caught 112 balls. We do know the Raiders are playing like the old Oakland Raiders, scoring 183 points this season in their black and silver West Coast offense. That's best in the NFL. We were surprised to know that the Raiders have been penalized 15 fewer times than at the same point last year. How's that for controlled aggression? The expansion Carolina Cougars, we know, have not allowed a 300-yard passer, and only once have they allowed a 100-yard rusher, and yet they don't have a win. But we do know that that could change this Sunday when they face the Jets, who start Bubby Brister at quarterback for the beat-up Boomer Esiason. And Jerry Rice, well, we all know, he owns more records than Dick Clark, and he can grab another one when the 49ers play the Colts Sunday. He needs 137 yards to pass James Lofton for the top spot on the NFL's all-time list for receiving yards. It took Lofton 16 seasons. Rice is in his 11th season. One tip here, if Rice sets the record and you talk to him in the locker room after the game, don't ask him about Dion going to Dallas. Thanks a lot for watching. Join us Friday. Steve Garvey will be here. I'm Chris Myers in L.A. Thanks for watching.